at my 21st birthday party, I was really looking forward to it because it's an amazing celebration.
Yeah.
But absolutely dreading it. Now, the reason why is because at the time I was kind of...
Welcome back to another episode of the Everyday Joy podcast. I'm your host, Ash Couchman, and I cannot wait to find moments of joy with you today. I am so excited to be diving into the Word of God together today. Let's jump into the conversation. Cam, welcome back to the Everyday Joy podcast.
So good to be here, Ash.
It is so nice to get to chat to you aside from, popping in and out every now and again and saying, Cam, how's your macros and micros and protein going? Cam,
it's going well, thank you for asking.
If you don't know, Cam you are one of the most disciplined people I know.
Oh, thank you.
You are amazing at the way that you have, because I'm pretty sure we spoke about it the last time you were on the podcast. We were talking about, discipline and all that sort of thing. And you were saying that wasn't always your life.
No.
And I just think it's amazing how you have built this discipline in your life.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not easy. I'm in this season at the moment where I go through phases where I'm I'm really on or I'm absolutely off.
Yeah,
there's
totally.
no in between.
Yeah,
and so I'm okay, this next year is the year of consistently good for the year. Not just 2 months of amazing, a month of terrible.
And that's because it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to be perfect in everything, whatever that is, right? And this is completely off topic for the word to live by, but whenever you're trying to be perfect with anything, it's just unsustainable. You just can't keep doing it.
So true.
Whereas if you're consistently pretty good, then you still give yourself that room for margin of whatever that needs to be in your life.
What do you think helped you the most to get to that place? Was there something or a mindset or what's helped you to do?
I think for me, it was realizing that motivation fades.
Yeah.
It was going, if I'm waiting for that magical motivation to appear before I did anything, I'm not going to get very far. So that'll take you a little ways in the beginning. But if you actually want to continue along with anything, discipline's got to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's so true. Rob and I were talking about it the other day. We're not sure if we're going to do it, but I think we might try and do that 10K that you did at the Melbourne Marathon.
Oh, amazing.
And I think we're just going to register and then just commit to it.
Well, if you need help with a running program
or
anything,
gosh.
just come and talk to me.
We're we'll get Cam involved. We'll do it as a story arc because we feel Rob's a millennial.
Yeah.
I'm a Gen Z, and I feel everyone, all of my friends, they've all become runners, and I'm I feel like the odd one out. So we're going to get into it. Even if it's no more than 10Ks, I have literally, I'm sorry, cover your ears, Cam. I have zero motivation to ever do a marathon, but I will happily try to do 10K.
Absolutely.
I went for my first run this morning. I literally could run 900 meters and then I gave up and I was like, you know what? We'll just give it a try. We'll keep running. We'll keep going. And I think for me, in my head, I'm I understand even when it comes reading my Bible or reading my word, that thing about motivation where you were it's not always there.
Yeah.
I feel I've learnt that in my Bible life, my time with God, but when it comes to the physical push, I haven't learnt it or mastered it or anything
so true,
like that.
Because how often do you always, hit snooze on that alarm rather than, getting up to read the Bible or pray?
Totally.
You just go, I'm just gonna, I'll do it later.
Yep.
And then you get into your day and later never happens. And then all of a sudden you've missed a day, which turns into 4. And then all of a sudden you haven't looked at your thing for 2 weeks.
Totally. And I think all of us has been, me included, we've all had a time or a season where that is just what's happened. But I think it's so cool. And it's kind of relevant to our words to live by today in the sense of man, if we want to be something or we want to look like something or mimic someone, it takes that discipline and it takes learning how to do that. And that's all about today's words to live by.
That's it. It's from John chapter 2, verse 6. It says, whoever claims to live in him, that's God, must live as Jesus did. When I read this instantly, I always think about, you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk?
Totally.
Because so often we want to present this image of ourselves, of someone that's got it all together, of someone that does all of these things that are good for our lives, that are healthy spiritually, emotionally, physically, all of these things. But it takes a bit of work sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just reach that position in life where you're just like, oh, authenticity has to be at the key. This is how I think about it.
Yeah.
Going, we have to be authentic. We have to be real, and we have to say it like it is and live it like it is. And those two things have to line up.
Yeah.
We can't be saying one thing and living another.
Yeah. And I think it reminds me of, I'm going to misquote the scripture, but it kind of talks about, you'll know someone's faith by their fruit. Like you'll know someone's walk with Jesus based on how they're living outwardly, or what are they showing those fruits of the Spirit, and that's not to say you don't have a faith if you haven't mastered them all, because we all have things that we struggle with, or I'm sure there'll be things like I'm maybe not as good as patience, but I can have a lot of joy in my day to day. There's all those things where we're not going to be perfect at it, but it's being willing to be more like Jesus. And I love that in the Bible, like we talk about, this is more like Bible theology words, but like we talk about justification and sanctification, right? And justification is like that moment you give your life to Jesus and you say, yep, I'm going to give my sins to him. I believe that he died on the cross. You are like justified with Christ, which means that, you don't have to worry about your sin, shame, like none of that matters anymore. But then the sanctification process is this life of being someone who walks as Jesus walked. And that's not to say we're going to get it perfect right away, but it's a willingness and a want, kind of like what we were talking about on Monday's episode, of a heart that is willing to be more like Jesus, to be molded and made into someone who looks and loves like Christ.
Yeah, I often think about this just when I was in my very younger years, so early adulthood, and at my 21st birthday party, I was really looking forward to it because it's an amazing celebration.
Yeah.
But absolutely dreading it. Now, the reason why is because at the time I was kind of talking the talk, but not really walking the walk. And what I mean by that was that I had my church friends and I had my not church friends.
Right.
And I realized that these two groups of individuals were going to intermingle and they were going to meet for the first time.
It's like the biggest fear of every teen.
Right, absolutely. It's
even now when you're like,
I know.
Do my work friends hang out with my church friends who hang out?
Yeah, right. It's that exact thing. And it's going, okay, these two different groups of people are getting two very different expressions of who I am at the same time. There's no authenticity there. I'm not being the same person. I'm not walking the walk.
Wow.
Sure, I'm talking the talk, but I'm not necessarily walking it out in every aspect of my life. And that's often the key.
Yeah.
Because often we want to control the parts that outworks itself in. But rather, this is something that needs to be across every aspect of our life. And I remember going into that party just thinking, oh my gosh, like, what are these people going to think when they start talking about what we did at church last week? And then these people are going to be like, oh, what happened when we were at the pub last week? And just being, oh my gosh, my worlds are about to collide. And it brought on serious stress and anxiety. And then I realized that the issue wasn't that these two groups of people were coming together. I was the issue.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't living authentically.
Yeah.
And that was the big challenge for me to be able to then go, all right, and I think I'm doing all right at this now, where regardless of who you talk to, I'm me. I'm Cam. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And I'm past the point now, I'm in my 40s. So I'm past the point now where I feel like I need to be something for someone else. It's like, this is who I am, unashamedly. And that takes boldness.
Totally.
And this verse calls us to a point to live in that spirit of boldness in our faith.
I love
and in
that.
our lives. To not just talk the talk, to not just say we're doing all the right things, but to actually do the right things.
I love that, Cam. And I think when I was kind of reading through it, I was thinking, you can have a faith, kind of like in your story, you believed in God, you had that faith. But I think becoming like him and walking with him involves that fellowship and actual relationship with God. I think there's that difference between going, am I just going to, like you were saying, talk the talk?
Yeah.
Or am I willing to be convicted, changed, challenged by what God and his word is saying? And I love that you're talking about being authentic, because I think all of us have a point where we stop going, okay, well, I haven't shared Jesus with these people, or I don't know if I'm going to be as bold here or as bold here. And, it comes up in different spheres. I'm sure we all have challenging moments where we creep back into ourselves a little bit, but to know that we are consistently being who God's called us to be, like you were saying, is so important. And maybe even if you're listening, you're reflecting on your life and you're going, okay, I know there's people in my world who maybe don't even know you have a faith, who you haven't been bold yet in that sense.
Like even when you come into work on a Monday, right, and you're working with people that don't go to church. How was the weekend? I went to church.
Yeah.
Is a key part of what your weekend can be.
Yeah.
But often, and I've been guilty of this too so many times, right?
All of us
where
have.
It's just like, we did this, the kids, this, that, whatever. No reference to the fact that you went to church and that there was the expression of your faith in that way and that you went to that church event. It was all just like, okay, what can I safely say about what my weekend contained without necessarily pulling the faith card out?
Yeah. And I think I spoke about it maybe like a fortnight ago when I had Kate on the podcast. We were talking about how I had seen this video where this lady was like, I don't believe religion's a thing. She was like, I don't believe it's a thing because if people really thought that people were going to have if they believe that hell was real, or if they believe people are going to go to hell or anything like that, she was like, I would be screaming at the rooftops. And this is someone who didn't have a faith. This is someone who didn't believe. And Christians lack at times of boldness. I think we do it as a protective measure. But when I heard this woman who doesn't have a faith say, well, to me, it proves it's not real, because if you are that assured of what's happening and what's going on, you would think people would be more bold. And I have been challenged by it for the last month, just thinking about this, stewing on this for that exact reason of, I know the goodness of a relationship with God. So why do I hide it?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, social media, life, biases, all of that come into place and we overthink things. But I would just encourage you, because of your relationship with God, the next time someone says, what'd you do over the weekend? Or, why are you joyful? Or like, why are you able to do this or this? Be bold enough to kind of say that thing. And I actually find the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah. And I think so often we can fall back to the mindset of, it's almost kind of crept into modern culture in a number of ways of, I don't care what other people think.
Yeah.
But really, we really do.
Yeah.
Like, we base a lot of our choices in our life, what we do, what we talk about, like we've been talking about on this episode, of going, well, what's someone else going to think? That's a mindset adjustment that needs to take place, rather than what are they going to think? What does God think?
Yeah.
Because this verse just pulls it all back in. If you claim to live in Him, then we got to live as Jesus did. And sometimes that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of times that's uncomfortable. And it pulls us out of that comfort zone and out of the things that we hold dear and safe. And He stretches us. And that's how we grow. Because when we do hard things, that's where we grow spiritually, emotionally, physically. It's a principle that just applies to so many different areas of our life. Sometimes we shy away from doing the hard things because it's going to be a little uncomfortable. But maybe that's where we need to be spending a little bit more time.
So cool. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the podcast. I hope that it encouraged you, that it's helped you through, and that it helps to challenge you through the season of life that you're facing, uplift you if you're feeling down. And most of all, I pray that you're able to draw closer and closer to God. I'm so excited to keep diving into the Word of God with you. I pray you're able to find moments of joy.